Outraged at the Easter Bunny. All right, so I'm really excited about this topic because it's very interesting. Okay, and first off, I'm not stereotyping atheists or agnostics. If you don't fall into this category with this motivation behind your worldview, then I can accept that. All right, I know that's not going to fit everyone. A lot of atheists, well-meaning atheists, really truly believe that they don't have the evidence they need, and that's fine. Hopefully, that the videos that I'm doing will help. But a lot of atheists that say the Bible isn't true, they say it's just a bunch of myths, a bunch of legends, fairy tales, made up stories. They say that because if the Bible's true and there is a God, and if there's a God, I'm held morally accountable to him. He has authority over my life. Most people don't like that. Most people don't want that. So the escape route is to say the Bible just isn't true. But the funny part is, and this is the whole point of the discussion today, is that those same people that say the Bible isn't true, it's just myths, fairy tales, fiction, they will literally turn right around, open, and I've had this happen with me personally. They will turn right around, open up the Bible, and start using it like a weapon. They'll grab Old Testament passages, usually the difficult ones like the judgment passages or the conquest passages or the ones about God dealing with evil and protecting Israel. And suddenly they're a biblical scholar. They'll say, see, your God is evil. He did this. Your God is unjust. He commanded this. Your God is violent. Your God is an egomaniac. Now, hold on a second. You can't have it both ways. Either the Bible is a myth and nothing in it is true, and therefore none of it happened. And if that's true, then why are you using it as evidence against God? It's just a fairy tale. Why are you treating these moral complaints like serious arguments? If the Bible is false, then what are you objecting to? A fictional story and with fictional characters and doing fictional things? Nobody watches Star Wars and in real life gets morally outraged at Darth Vader and goes home and phones, their police station and says, "You got to get this man." They know he doesn't exist. It's Hollywood. Nobody files complaints against the Easter Bunny. You only get morally outraged when you think something deep down, there might be something there. So the moment that an atheist marches into the Old Testament and says God is evil, they've already assumed that the Bible describes something worth evaluating. They've stepped into our worldview, right? Using our book, our morality, and our categories to claim that God is evil. To accuse the very God they claim doesn't exist. How can you not exist and be evil? Right? And I say our categories because although an atheist can live, I've talked about this in the past, an atheist can live a moral life, of course, but they don't have any objective morality justification. It's all opinion, it's all subjective. There's no objective standard of right and wrong if there's no God. It's like criticizing the rules of chess, but insisting that chess isn't a real game. Now, okay, first off, don't misunderstand me. There are hard passages in the Old Testament, absolutely. Passages that require context, historical context, moral context, language context, covenant context. You can't just rip a verse out of the Old Testament and hold it up on Twitter and say, yep, God is bad. No serious scholar, Christian or atheist, reads ancient literature that way. But that's what's happening today. It's selective outrage. It's moral grandstanding. It's like saying, I don't believe the book is true, except when I want it to be true long enough for me to yell at it. You don't get to stand on the Bible in order to attack it. Either you treat it as an ancient document that's worth examining seriously, and you look at the historicity of the Bible, do the research, do the work, or you just walk away from it entirely. But you don't get the free pass of using it only when it helps your argument and ignoring it when it doesn't. So what I'm going to do, and I've done this in videos in the past, but I'm going to do it again in a little bit more detail. I'm going to walk you through some of these Old Testament passages. We're going to talk about what actually was happening, why God acted the way that he did. And far from being evil, it shows how incredibly patient, justice, just, I should say, patient, just, and how much moral consistency that God has. Because when you understand the context, the character of God doesn't shrink. It gets clearer, it gets better. Okay, so stay tuned for that. I'll be doing that in the next few devotions, and hopefully it makes a lot of things click for you. Okay, God bless. Thanks for watching. I'll see you back next time. Bye.